Hello, and welcome to another episode of Automate Office Work. I'm your host, Justin. On today's podcast, we're going to be talking all about department lists. Now, I've already talked about this in brief in a previous episode, and there's also articles on my website that discuss how to automate people stuff. And one of those things is a department list that automatically updates itself. You can hear a little bit about that in previous episodes, automating people stuff and org charts. And today we're going to go one step forward and we're going to go over and even show you how you can compare your current list to a previous list. And then you get the list of people who are now joining your department or those who are leaving. And you can allow people in your department to subscribe to this kind of data so that they can be notified when people are joining or leaving. And we can also apply this data to various systems so that you can do things like set up accounts for these people, send them invites to onboarding. You might also be interested in meeting with some of these new people. Maybe you analyze it and you see which team they're going to be under, and possibly you want to introduce yourself to them, maybe have some kind of a chat with them. So this really allows you and your people to do all kinds of things that really can add benefit to your organization. Okay, so there is an article that I wrote that goes over today's content. It is at automateofficework.com/SharePoint groups is what I called it. I might also create a URL at department lists, since that is what I am titling today's episode, and maybe have it point to the exact same content. But automating SharePoint groups, automating your department list, for me, it's similar because we're working inside of SharePoint. Okay, so I've talked about this previously, and today we're going to go forward. Okay, let me, for those of you who are watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, you get the benefit of being able to see my screen as well, and you'll be able to see, there's a screenshot here. It says department list at the top, and below that it says this tool provides a list of all accounts under the general counsel, because I'm working in a legal department. This list is automatically updated every day. You can access the list of accounts below or access a text file and you've got the URL. It ends with allemails.txt. Below that is a small box, and it's filled in with everybody's email addresses separated by a comma and a space. And it even has a metric at the bottom. It says total count is 16. This tool manages the below SharePoint groups. You can create a group for your SharePoint and list it below, and it will automatically populate your group with all accounts in the department. You must give access to justin@automateofficework.onmicrosoft.com to edit your group. You can indicate multiple owners of your group, and they can receive notifications when the group is modified. So, okay, so this is where you can have the people who join and the people who leave. You can have that applied to other SharePoint groups. So maybe people around your department, they have various SharePoints that are created. And so you can also create customized groups of people. Well, they create a group, say they call it all legal department, and they register it here. And they also have to give my account access to be able to modify the members in that group. And then my account automatically will modify their group. So if there's a certain resource around different various SharePoints, maybe they only want a folder to be accessible to the lawyers. Traditionally, they would have to create their own custom group, and then they would have to manually update that as people join and leave. But now we can automate that for them. They just come here and they register. So I'll show how to set this up. Below that is another section, and it says subscribers. You can subscribe to receive an email with the list of accounts that have been created and removed in the department. It says subscribers, and then there's a button. For me, I'm already on the list, so my button says unsubscribe me. If the person was not yet on the list, it would say subscribe me. And I am an administrator of this tool, so I have an extra box where I can type in anyone's email address and add them to this list, as well as next to each email address, there's an X that I, as an admin, can remove them. So yeah, a person can self-manage their subscription, as well as in these emails, it will tell them, do you want to stop receiving these notifications? Then go to this web page. You can unsubscribe yourself. Okay. So that is about what it looks like. Let's, I wanted to start building this just to show you a little bit more on how you would get started creating a solution like this. So I am going to go to my SharePoint. It is at, I'm just going to start typing in site contents, and I've got a SharePoint at sites/legal. I've gone to its site contents, and I'm going to create a new document library. I'm going to call it department list. It's going to be a blank library, department list. Do not show it on the navigation. Okay. I also have an editor that I should open. I created my own editor for SharePoint, so I can do things like creating files. Okay, so I'm at site/legal in my editor, and I do have a folder called department list. I'm going to go inside of it. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this javascript.js. And maybe I should also zoom in so you can see a little bit more clearly what I'm doing here. I am also going to create a new file, call it home.html. And let's see. Let's also create a file, admins.txt, just so we can say who is going to be in our admins. In the admins.txt, I'm going to put my own email address. Automate office, it's justnet automate office work.on microsoft.com. And I'm going to save that. And now I can exit this. I'm going to go into my JavaScript, and I'm just going to say alert test so that we can test this when it is working. And in my home.html, I'm just going to type the word home for testing for now. We're going to be building this out as we go along. Okay, now that we are back, we need to create a page that the people can land on. And in order to do that, I need to go to my pages. So I'm going to go to my site contents. I'm going to go into my, let's see, if I click on new, it does have a page there, but I don't think, let's see what happens. If I click on page, do I get the options? No, I'm not getting the options. So that is not the place to create a page. So I want a very special kind of a page that is only going to have my one web part on it. So in order to do that, I need to go into the site pages library, which is down here near the bottom. It says site pages page library. Click on that. Shows me all the pages that exist. Now, when I click on the new menu, it asks me what kind of page do I want to add. It's not just adding a page. There are different kinds of pages. And I want to choose web part page. This will create a page for me that has a single web part on it. And it asks me what I want to call it. I want to call it default.aspx, so that if somebody does go to the folder that's sites/legal/department list, it will automatically default it will load this default.aspx page that I'm creating. It says choose a layout template. I want full page vertical. So it's going to take up the entire page. And it asks which document library do I want this placed in. I want it placed into the department list document library, and I'll create that. Create it. Okay. Now it's asking me to add a web part. So I'm going to click on add a web part. Okay, I've got various menus here. We're going to click on advanced, and then it shows me the web parts that I have installed. One that I have installed is the AOW general app. It says automate office work general app, an app for building apps. So this thing is so powerful. You can use it to create anything. So I'm showing you how to create using it today. If you are interested in my SharePoint editor or this web part, I do offer them for sale on my website. It unlocks SharePoint. So if you're creative and you are able to code, even the most basic things, it removes the handcuffs from SharePoint, and you can create anything that's powerful and beautiful. Give your users the exact experience you want them to have. Okay, so I've got this web part. I'm going to click on its down arrow, and it says edit web part. And now I clicked on edit web part. We wait for it. Now there's a little panel. It says configure. So we're going to click on configure, and it asks what is the JavaScript file URL. So this is that javascript.js file that we created. We're going to say automate office work.sharepoint.com/site/legal/department list/javascript.js. And when we apply this, we should get a pop-up. It does. We got the pop-up that says test that we created. Okay, now we need to close this, and we need to apply our configuration change. Maybe apply and OK for good measure, just to make sure it really sticks. Okay. Yep. And now if we click on browse just to see this page, and maybe we can even expand this. Or wait, no, let's go to page. We need to save. We need to say stop editing. It removes the editor. We expand the page. We go click on browse. Okay, so this is what our page looks like without all the extra stuff. It says AOW general app still. We're going to want to get rid of this. We're going to want to get rid of all this extra margin that's kind of a border around our content. And we're going to want to get rid of this top menu bar as well. Okay. And so we're going to go to our, let's also go to, let's just go to our URL, site/legal/department list. If we go to this, yeah, it is still coming because it's cached to come to this regular SharePoint kind of interface. But if we keep going to it a couple of times, it's going to start opening up our page. There it is. We got this pop-up that says test. This is the behavior that we want. It is redirecting to default.aspx. Okay. Let's see. I am going to want, okay, in our editor, we go to our javascript.jas. I like to use variables when I'm typing out like my document library, because it could change. So I'm going to create a variable, SharePoint URL equals, it's going to be /site/legal/ no, that is my SharePoint. And then my variable for a document library, I call it doc library, equals department list. And I'm also going to create a global variable, is admin equals false. So we're going to be tracking whether the person coming to this page is an admin. By default, they're not. And this is going to be a global variable, so we set it here. We're also going to, you see this, the title at the top of the page inside the tab, it says default, which I do not want it to say that. So I'm going to change it here. We say document.title equals department space list. We also want to get rid of the word default from the URL so we can make it look nice. And I'm going to say const current URL equals window.location. Here, I'll make it bigger so you can see this. There you go. I hope that's nicer for anybody following along. Window.location.href. So that's the current URL. We're then going to create a constant updated URL equals current URL.replace. And we're going to replace anytime it says default.aspx. And it doesn't matter what the case, if it's uppercase or lowercase. And we're going to replace it with nothing. Okay, no. We need to say if current URL not equal to updated URL. So only if there's a change, then we're going to change the URL. Window.history.replace state. Put a couple of curly braces in some kind of a parameter. Document.title is the other parameter. And the last parameter is our updated URL constant. Okay. So that should be getting rid of lots of stuff. If we refresh this, it should be changing the title that's in our tab. It says test. It does say default still. It's probably getting the cached version of our SharePoint. So maybe if we refresh it a couple of times, there we go. Now it says department list in that tab. Okay, now we have lots of stuff that we have to get rid of. Like we have to get rid of the title of this web part. We also have to get rid of this top banner. And by default, this expanding icon is not clicked by the user. We're going to want to have that clicked. Okay, so if I click on, say right click on this expansion icon and I say inspect, it shows me that there's an image there. Above that is a span HTML element. Above that is another HTML span element. And above that is a link. It's called an A element, kind of like an anchor element, I believe. And we want to be able to just click on this. It does have some clicking kind of a function. It does say on click equals set full screen mode. And I wonder if, yeah, is there an ID? There's this. There's also this span ID equals full screen mode. And we've got full screen mode box. So, okay, let's click on this. Let's make we'll put in code so that this span is automatically clicked. Okay, so we come back here and we are identifying this full screen mode box. And we're going to click it. And we are going to set, there was a variable that we can set the full screen mode. We're going to set it to true when we do the click. Okay, so I'm going to save this. We're going to refresh this, get rid of that. And it should automatically expand this so that so a lot of this SharePointy stuff is no longer visible. We're going to refresh a couple of times. Looks like keeps getting, oh, there we go. It worked. It got rid of the SharePointy stuff, the left column, and a whole bunch of SharePoint stuff. So that button has been clicked. It is clicked by default now. Now we need to get rid of this title and this banner. Okay, and I'm just going to go shorter. I know exactly what needs to be hidden. It is these two. I have a couple of things. Oh no, we're starting to get some kind of phantom code that's in my SharePoint editor. SharePoint does this from time to time. So I'm going to refresh this page, go to my legal department list, go to my javascript.js, and there, it's all cleaned up. Okay, so after that is clicked, we need to hide a couple of these pieces. And one of them has the ID S4-ribbon row. That's going to get rid of the banner at the top. And the other one is something that has a class that's .ms-webpart-chrome-title. So we're going to get rid of the title of that web part. Okay, so save this and come back and refresh. It seems to be giving me an error or something. Kind of error. Failed to load. I'm not seeing any kind of error. Seems that it hid everything. Okay. I'm going to comment out the most recent thing that we added, so it will not be applied. Save that. And I refresh the page. Okay, so we're back to what we had before. And maybe I'll just do one of these things at a time. So we're going to get rid of the ribbon row. So we're trying to get rid of this gray banner. Refresh it a couple of times. Okay, it seems to be hiding a lot more stuff. And I'm wondering why. So let's comment that out again. I want it to come back, and then we'll inspect it to see exactly what we're dealing with. Okay, so we're going to go up the HTML tree, and we're looking for S4-ribbon row. Okay, it's right there. And it might be that I have lots of other things. So maybe I can also just set, because we've got lots of other things that need to be done to remove this, all this empty space that's around it. I'm just going to take all of that and I'm going to put it into my code, see if we can go faster in this demonstration without going over every single little line. Okay, so I found the different things that I needed to do to change my HTML to get rid of that extra space. Okay, let's refresh. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I have no content. That's why we're not seeing anything, because I have no content. Okay, let's go get some content that we put into the home.html. Okay. And but before we do that, we're going to grab the person's email address that's logged in. I'm going to say create a global variable var email address equals blank. We're going to do an AJAX call. Done. This is going to make a call to SharePoint, and it asks SharePoint, who is logged in? Okay, the URL for this is going to be to our SharePoint URL, which we have in a variable, and we do a /API/web/current user. And we only want to select their email address. We don't need to know all the other information about the person. Just their email address is enough. We have to set the headers. We accept application/JSON ;OData equals no metadata. Okay. And then after the done, we say email address equals data.email.toLowerCase. We always want to, whatever email addresses we're getting back from the system, we always want to convert them to lowercase, because when you're converting or when you're checking two email addresses, if one has capital letters in it and the other one is all not lowercase or all lowercase, to JavaScript, they are two different email addresses. So we need to make sure that we're always looking at email addresses that are all in lowercase, just so we're always testing the right versions. Okay, after that, we're going to do another AJAX call. Okay, put that in there. Okay, this AJAX call, the URL is also SharePoint URL, but now we're doing a slash, and next we're going to get our doc library, which is held in a variable, and we're going to do slash admins.txt. So we're going to get the list. Remember, I typed my email address into this text file. Okay, and now we need to take the data and we're going to replace any kind of an enter key or a new line is /n. We're going to replace those with nothing. So we're going to remove the page, the line breaks. And we're also going to replace any kind of semicolon. We're going to just make it into commas. So we need to have consistency. Are there semicolons between the email addresses or commas? We're just going to make them all commas, no matter what they typed into there. And we're also going to replace spaces. So if there's any kind of space, replace it with nothing. Now we're going to say if data.split, split it by the comma, .index of email address. So we're looking for the person's email address in this list of emails. If its location is greater than -1, that means that it is present. They are on the list, and we're going to set isAdmin equals true. Okay. After this, we're going to do some more JavaScript. We're going to say AOW element. So we have, this is the web part where the content goes. It has a class called AOW element. We're going to load into it the file that is located at, and we have a variable for the SharePoint, plus slash, plus doc library, plus slash home.html. So any, whatever code we have in at home.html, it's going to be put into our web part. Okay. Let's test it. Department list, refresh the page. It should just say home if we did things right. And we might have to refresh this a couple times because SharePoint likes to cache stuff. And also check in here. Oh, I do have an unexpected, I have some kind of a typo. Okay, we're gonna, okay, so to look for typos, you can click on, you right click anywhere on the page, you choose inspect, then along the top of this right panel, you have elements, and then the next one is console. You click on console, and it gives you any kind of messages, especially error messages. And we're looking for like anything that's pink is an error message. And we do have one here. It says unexpected token. So that means I have a typo. And I can click on at the top right of this little box. It gives me a line number where this is occurring. If I click on that, it opens up and it shows my code. Okay. And aha, I missed a parenthesis. So, okay, we come back here. We click on right there, AJAX. We need to do parenthesis and then curly brace. So hopefully it'll work now. Refresh. Console. Oh, it says SharePoint is not defined. So I need, it's not just SharePoint, it's like SharePoint URL. Silly me. Not spelling the variables right. Okay, refresh the page. department list, and it says home. Okay, make that bigger. Okay, so we have got the basics. Now we need to start editing that home.html. And I'm just going to take, we're going to, instead of saying home, we're going to create an HTML element called page wrapper. And then we're going to run some JavaScript on this page. We start it with script. And I actually want to inject a whole bunch of styling, and I think it's just the styling. Oh, there's a little bit of HTML in the page. And I'm going to inject it into my element here called page wrapper. So I'm going to just copy this all in, and maybe we can go through it. Okay, so we're starting this. There's a variable called HTML, and we're injecting a whole bunch of styling. This is your CSS. This is how you make the page look nice. If we did have some kind of variable around like the color or something, we can, because we're injecting this as a variable, we can also inject our variables for like the color. So I think that's a real reason why I did it this way, so we could change the colors in the future. Okay. After the styling, we now have a div element called page, and we can style it to like how wide we want the page. Maybe there's a maximum width to the page, so it doesn't just get like infinitely wide with the content. We want it to be, you know, looking nice and have a maximum width. Okay, I've got a page title that says department list. Here's the intro paragraph telling people what it does. And then this tool manages the below SharePoint groups. We've got a place for the SharePoint groups. Okay, and it injects it into our element called page wrapper. So let's just see what this does. We're going to have to do a lot more code to actually get the data from our databases in SharePoint. We're going to have to set up the databases as well. Okay, I'm going to save this. Department list, refresh. It should start taking shape. Okay, so it says department list. It's got some chasing dots where we're going to be filling this in the future. I've got a subscribe me button that doesn't actually do anything yet. The add button doesn't do anything. Creating on plus new doesn't do anything because we haven't coded that. We need to code it. Okay, so I actually have an allemails.txt file somewhere, but it is not in the department list. I created this in a previous project. I'm going to go to my site contents, look around for that allemails.txt file. Where is it? Might be my site assets. Yeah, that's where it is exactly. Allemails.txt. So it's in site assets, which has no space in it. It is at legal site assets / allemails.txt. Let's try going there. Okay, and I have a single email address here for some reason. It does seem kind of odd. I thought I had more. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to take this URL, and actually it's just the document library. It's called site assets. We're going to update this instead of saying doc library, because it's not in the document library right now. We're going to create it there, site assets. Okay. Now we are going to load that data we're going to get the contents of this file, all emails.txt, and we are going to we're going to do an AJAX call to get it. Site assets. And it's going to take all of those emails addresses and put it into our little box. It's going to replace any commas with comma and a space. And it's going to also give us the total count of the emails. Save that, refresh this page, and my email address should be filled into this box. And it is. We have a single email address. The total count is 1. Okay, next we're going to have to create a database that keeps track of all of these SharePoint groups that are being registered. I am going to go to my site contents again. Okay, so in the site contents, we need to create a new list. Create a new list. The name of the list is department list SharePoint groups. Department list SharePoint groups. Create that. Okay, we're going to have to add a column. It's going to be text. So it has a limit of 256 characters, no line breaks. The name of this column is going to be SharePoint. We're going to add another column. It's going to be multiple lines of text, and you can have more than 256 characters. We're going to call this owners. And we're going to have another column. It's going to be a number, and it's going to be called group ID. Okay, and now we also need to create, a custom group. So I'm going to go to my site contents. I'm going to select one of my document libraries. Click on the 3 dots to the right of it, and there's an option that says settings. Click on settings. There's permissions for this document library. Click on that. And now there are various groups that you might see here. I can click on one, like legal owners. It brings me to a page for managing different groups, and one of them is here. And it only says I should have actually more stuff. Maybe it's because this banner is expanded. I need to unexpand it possibly. Okay, yeah. And now I've got a button here. It says more. I click on more, and it's going to show me a list of all of my groups. And now I need to make a new group. I'm going to call it all legal department. Okay, all, and maybe capitalize all. Legal is capitalized, and then department is capitalized. The group owner is me. I'm going to say everyone can view the membership of this group. And who can edit the membership of the group? That's just me, the group owner. The group owner, if this was somebody else creating this, there can only be one group owner at a time. So they would have to remove themselves, even if they created the group, and they would have to put in my account, because my account needs the ability to manage this group. Okay, so we've got this. I'm going to create it. Create it. Okay. And now we need all kinds of actions for this page. with managing these. Like we need to be able to see the current ones, edit the current ones, and the users need to be able to create a new one. So I believe I have all kinds of code for that. And I think what I'll do is just take all of my code and just paste it in so we can quickly talk about it. Okay, I've got this. Here we insert a ton of code. It's every single button click and anything that is being done. Okay, we have 3 functions here. There's one for load the SharePoint groups. One is reset new owners table. So after you submit a new group, we want to reset the menu or the table where you're adding in new ones. And we have a function for loading the subscribers, which we need to create our database for subscribers as well. So, okay, let's go back. Let's go to site contents. We need to do our subscribers. Okay, we're going to add a new list. Create a list. It's going to be called department list subscribers. And I apologize, this is going kind of long, but I kind of want to show you guys how to do the basics of this kind of stuff. Okay. Once you get the basics down, you can create anything. Okay, we have a new list called department list subscribers. We have a column that we need to create, which is text. So it's a maximum of 256 characters, no line breaks. And we're going to call it email. So this is the email address of the people who are subscribed. Okay, save that. And now if I refresh my department list page, it should be doing some stuff. Okay, so like I should be able to click on this new button and have a box appear. It's called new SharePoint group box. By default, it says display none. I'm going to take away that. Okay, now I can see that box. It's asking me to create which SharePoint do I want? It will then, so if I do site/legal, and then I click on refresh, it is supposed to be gathering all the different SharePoint groups that I have on this SharePoint for me to pick from, but is not doing it for some reason. I wonder why. Did I do anything wrong in my code? Is it even, I can't tell if it's loading these SharePoint groups and loading the subscribers. So I am going to, after load SharePoint groups, I'm going to say alert load SharePoint groups. Save that. Refresh the page. I should get that pop up unless it's not. Okay, it says load SharePoint groups. Okay, now it looks like, okay, it's actually doing stuff now. It's not just getting the cached version, the previous version of our SharePoint page. I'm going to take away that pop-up, that alert, save it. Okay, so now I've got this plus new button. I can click on it. If I put in sites/legal and I click refresh, it just got the list of all of my people lists, my people groups. I want to pick all legal department as mine. And the owner of this, by default, it's me. I can add other people if I want them to be designated as an owner as well. I can also indicate that I want to be alerted when my group is updated. I'm going to do none of that. I'm just going to say add group. And my group has been added. So it's now registered. Okay, I have a list of these. It is group ID is 102. It has me as the owner. I can always add more people from my department or my company to be owners as well. And I can say, yes, I want to subscribe, or no, I do not want to subscribe, just by checking and unchecking a box. Okay, and I also have a subscribers section. It says subscribe me, and I can click on the subscribe me button. And now I have been added to the list, and my subscribe me button now says unsubscribe me. Okay, I'm going to go back to the list that you saw that I created for the department list subscribers. I'm going to refresh, and I should be added to this list. I am now added to the list. And also, if I go to site contents and I go to department list, SharePoint groups, I have one. My SharePoint is legal. My owners, I'm listed as the only owner. It says email false, so I will not be notified, and it has a group ID of 102. Okay, guys, I think that this has gone probably far enough, but you see the basics of this. Now that we have this page where people can subscribe and they can register their groups, which they want to have be automatically updated and manipulated by my account, now I can do that. Maybe I'll show just briefly. We do that in Microsoft Power Automate. All right, if it's going to go, come on. We have an automation that runs daily or every 12 hours or whatever you want. And where is it? Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But we have an automation that is triggered by time. It looks for, ideally I should have a file called generalcounsel.txt that is in my document library. So that makes it so anybody who can just update that, because the top person in your department is going to change from time to time. You might not want it hard coded into your automation. You might want it to be in a text file so that anybody can just go update that, make it very easy for like a secretary or somebody. Okay, so then our automation looks up that person, and then the automation looks for all of the direct reports, anybody who reports to them directly. Okay, we add all of these people into an array that we need to then loop through and look them up, as well as we add everybody's email addresses to a variable. It's a string variable, the email address, and then a comma. So we're building up this array of all the email addresses that need to be looked up, as well as a string, every email address that has been found. Okay, then as we're building up this array of people that need to be looked at, we loop through each of these people and look for their direct reports, and we do the same to them. We add their email address. Anybody who reports to them, we add the email addresses to the array that we have to go check them, and we add their email address to the full list of email addresses. And then we keep looking, just looping through until we're finally done. We get through all the levels. And now we've got a list of every email address, and that one, we're going to replace the all emails.txt with that whole bunch of files. But before we do that, we need to get the contents of the current all emails.txt. So now we've got these two. We've got the old list and the new list. Now we need to make an array of new people, and like people who joined, and then another array, people who left. And the way that you get the people who have joined is you look up, you loop through the list of all the new people. And for each person, you look on the old list to see, are they on the old list? If they're on the new list, but they're not on the old list, then you know that this is a new person, and you add them to the new people array, the people who joined. For the people who left, you do the exact opposite. You loop through the old list, and you look to see, are they on the new list? If they're on the old list but not on the new list, they've left, they're gone. And you add their email address to the array of people who are new. Okay. So now you can give this list, people who joined and people who left, to all of your subscribers. You can just send an email to them. And I would put in the footer of the email, let them know you can unsubscribe to this from any time. At any time, just go to this URL and click the unsubscribe me button. Okay. So that's the easy one. The next one, if people want to be notified when their list, so I look at this, they have clicked on this bell icon to say they are the owner of a group, a SharePoint group, and they want to be notified when their list has been updated. People either leave or people join. This one is a little bit different because we don't know exactly when this group was created. So possibly this group was created today, and we already have a history of lots and lots of people who have joined in the past. We have them on the previous list. And so if we just compare the two lists, like I described before, that's not going to tell you all the people who had to be joined, because you might have to join the entire department because this group was just created, right? So that group of people who are joining this group is going to be a lot more than the people joining the department. Like you might have 2 extra people this week who joined, but you have to add like 300 people to this group because it was empty and you've never done this before. Okay, so this is slightly different. We're going to be looking up on the old list of this group. Okay, you can do that with SharePoint APIs. You can say, give me the list of everybody in this group. Okay, so instead of looking up the old list, you're saying, show me the whole group of people. Okay, then you're going to compare it to your new list. So you're going to loop through all the people that are on in the group currently, and you're going to check to see if they are on the new list. If they're on the new list, if they're not on the old list, then that means you have to create. So you're going to add that new person's account to this list of people. Also, you want to add it to the array of people that you're adding. Okay. And then for the people who are leaving, we're going to do the complete opposite. We're going to loop through the new list, and we're going to see if they are on the current list of people that are already in the group. Wait, I think I said this backwards. Maybe it's removing the first round and it's adding the second round, and you want to add them to an array of people who are being added. Okay, if you have people in this array, in either of these arrays, then you need to check to see if there are owners of this SharePoint group who want to be notified. If people want to be notified, then you need to loop through the owners and find which ones want to be notified. If they want to be notified, you send them an email with these 2 arrays, people that have been added to their group and people who've been removed from their group. Okay, so it's a very methodical process. Really think through the patterns, right? This is a great scenario of the patterns that you can go through, and we have the tools inside of Microsoft Office using this Power Automate. So you can automatically do all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, I think this is a great place to leave it. We've been going for almost an hour, but I hope that you're getting a lot of benefit from this. I hope that your imagination is going wild. Like, what other kinds of systems can you automatically update, right? Maybe you have other systems where accounts need to be created for people. Maybe you could figure out how to automate that. If you cannot figure out how to automate it, at least you can notify the people who are creating the accounts, right? So you don't have to send an email. You can automatically have them notified with an email just generated automatically that you did not have to manually type out. Okay. As well as when people leave, maybe you want these extra accounts to be shut down as well. You can make it very smooth, as well as I would do some other things that are more of a human touch. Well, you could argue inviting the new people to onboarding resources, let them know. Maybe even just your team has a website and you want to introduce yourself or introduce your team. Let the new people know that your team has a website where they can get to know you and get to know what you have to offer, what kind of services your team does. It can be very helpful, as well as maybe you want to be monitoring the list of people who are joining your department, and you might want to introduce yourself, you know, see what kind of team this person is on, who they report to, and then if you want to, you introduce yourself to them and you invite them to some kind of a chat. Maybe you have coffee together or something. Okay, but I would not automate the coffee chat. That's too much automation. We need to keep some people in here. We need to increase connection with people. We need to make it easier for people to connect and get rid of all the robotic kind of admin stuff that people do not want to be doing. So then they do have time to be doing the things that they do enjoy and getting to know each other and connecting. All right, so I'll leave it at that. My name is Justin. I have a website at automateofficework.com. You can find all kinds of episodes similar to this, where I have just gone through and automated everything. I was a corporate lawyer for 10 years. Before studying law, I studied computers. So I really took all of these approaches and just automated. I went on the journey to automate everything. And so I'm here to help you as well. If you would like some extra help, feel free to reach out to me, come to my website and book a call, or you can find me on LinkedIn. You can look at my past projects. You can see the kinds of services that I offer in consulting and building solutions, just like the one that you've seen here. All right. Also look through the podcast. Today is episode 32. Wow. And yeah, reach out, connect. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. All right. So with that, I wish you happy automating.